Hey everybody, it's Mark Coons here with eXp Realty and the Selling Kelowna Real Estate Group. In this video, I'm going over the 5 pros and the 5 cons of what it's like living in Kelowna. So stay tuned to the end. Alright, so with Kelowna, a lot of people are looking to move here to Kelowna, and if that sounds like you, please reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text message, email, whatever works for you. I have your back, and I'd love to chat with you and drop in your comments, specific areas and questions that you might have on Kelowna. I'd love to answer your questions if I don't answer it in this video. But pro number 1 of what we're looking to do and what really brings people to Kelowna, 50% of our buyers are roughly from outside the central Okanagan. So we get a lot of active people that are actively looking to live here. And this pro number 1 is the natural beauty, and this is really what brings a lot of people here. And when you talk about Kelowna, you talk about the lifestyle, and you talk about when you think about living here, you want to live the lifestyle. And the natural beauty that Kelowna has to offer is part of that. So natural beauty, we have lakes, hiking, mountains, everything like that. It's just a beautiful setting. The Okanagan definitely has natural beauty that you can't really take away, and that's really what's drawing a lot of people to the Okanagan, is that natural beauty. All right, so con number 1 is going to be the cost of living. So we have a lot of people looking to move here in Kelowna, and this is going to depend on the lens you're looking at it from. So this con number 1 is really from the lens if you're moving from an eastern province, say, or the prairies, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, where the cost of living is quite a bit less. This isn't necessarily the cost of living compared to Vancouver or Toronto or any of those bigger centers, but this is really comparing it to other smaller centers similar to what the Okanagan and Kelowna is like. So cost of living in Kelowna is quite a bit higher. You're going to have a lot of PST and 5% on GST. So just on your everyday purchases, you're paying a decent amount of taxes. Liquor taxes also on top of that are going up. But when you're looking at the cost of living, I will have another video coming out in a couple of weeks here regarding the cost of living in 2023 and what does that look like for you. So stay tuned and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that cost of living video coming out. When we're looking at it, so it's really going to depend. The cost of living from Vancouver to Toronto, it's definitely lower. Cost of housing is going to be lower than those two centers, but keep that in mind as you're looking here. Depending on the lens you're looking at, the cost of living can maybe be a little bit higher. Make sure you're budgeting if you are moving here from a lower cost of living area. So pro number 2, reason to live here in Kelowna, well, it's the climate. It kind of goes with the natural beauty, but you get the hot summers, great overall temperature, and there's not a whole lot of rainfall that happens here in Kelowna. So that's where Kelowna will differ from Vancouver, where you don't get a lot of that. You don't get that rainy season. Winter, you do get snow. It is a mild winter, so you're probably looking at an average low -6 December, January type of situation. But I have other videos on the weather specifically here in Kelowna, and so you get into that. But the climate is really what draws a lot of people here. You still get the 4-season playground, and you get to go skiing at Big White. That's something that our family loves to enjoy, and we get to enjoy the outdoor hockey rinks. What Canada's all about, and living that lifestyle and getting on the lake and going for a skate or a hike and that sort of situation. But you also get the hot summers and you can just overall better lifestyle. Con number 2 kind of comes with the climate, but it's the wildfires. If you know about Kelowna, if you've heard about Kelowna in the summer, you've probably heard about the smoke and the wildfires. It would obviously be hit and miss, and it really depends on Mother Nature and the climate. It depends if we're getting the amount of rain, because it is typically a drier climate. The good news is Kelowna is a major center, and it was a couple years ago there was a fire right close by us, and with the water bombers and and the fire rescue and everything like that, really put a priority on our area to get the wildfires out, because it was obviously closer to the population. So it really depends on it. So pro number 3, well, it's going to be the wine industry. So you've heard about the Okanagan. If you've been here, you've probably gone and visited a winery, especially when you're tourism, hitting those wine tours, hitting the bus tours, the wine industry here in the Okanagan is spectacular. It's really, if you think about the Okanagan, it's what draws a lot of people here. And when you think about living here, it's going to go walk around and visiting those wineries. You go down Boucherie Road in West Kelowna, you can hit 8 wineries in like a kilometer span. It's just incredible to indulge in your specific wine needs. If you're not the wine connoisseur, moving here I wasn't. Now I'm starting to take a lot more appreciation for the wine, what goes into the wine, different types of wine, that sort of situation. But you can just go out and I just implore you to go out, visit those wineries and take a look. Natural beauty, meet some people, and even if you don't like wine, it's $10 for a wine tasting. You don't even really have to taste if you don't want to, but it's just a good opportunity to get out and just really see what really drives a lot of the economy here in Kelowna and in the Okanagan. Con number 3 we're looking at is the lack of public transportation. So when we're talking about public transportation, we're talking about the buses. There's no real good way to get, depending on where you live. There is a lack of transportation. This is a little bit because of the sprawl city. Historically, Kelowna is a sprawl city, so they have tried to they're trying to increase the density, but a lot of the areas it's spread out, and so depending on where you live, you might be lacking from having lack of public transportation options. If you're trying to get from West Kelowna to Kelowna, there's maybe 1 or 2 trips a day to get you to Kelowna, and then 1 or 2 trips a day coming back. So there's limited options, limited time availability to be able to do it. So historically, I would suggest to not rely on public transportation if you are looking to move here, or even if you're looking to visit here. Plan on maybe getting a rental car, or if you're just visiting, or plan to have a car purchased or drive your car if you are looking to live here. Pro number 4 is its growing economy. So the economy in Kelowna is growing. A lot of that's driven by the tech industry, which is, especially in the last couple of years, it's just really expanding quite a bit and becoming more and more decentralized to those bigger centers, and allowing people to work from home and everything like that, which is really driving a lot of the housing market in Kelowna, but it's also driving what the economy has to offer here. Huge portion of the economy as well is the tourism, which we've already touched on quite a bit with the natural beauty and the lifestyle and everything that the climate, everything that Kelowna has to offer. Con number 4 is seasonality of the industry. So we're looking at tourism. So we talked about it as a pro number 4, but it's also a little bit of a con because we have the seasonality of the industries. We have the tourism portion that is really seasonal. A lot of it's in the summer, and unless you go up to Big White, where a lot of that industry is only in the winter, right? And they're trying to make it's a little bit more of an all-year playground, but a lot of it is all seasonal and cyclical. So depending on what you are, it really impacts the waiters, the waitresses, that aspect of the markets. But year-round, there are, depending on what type of business you're in, what you're into, there's options all year round. Pro number 5 is Kelowna International Airport. So this airport, it's international, so you can get direct flights all the way to Mexico or Phoenix, that sort of situation. It's a quick flight to Vancouver, 45 minutes, or to Calgary. It's another 45 minutes to an hour, really, to go either way, and that sort of situation. So it is a hub, and you can get out and really anywhere around the world from Kelowna, and fairly easy. There's multiple daily flights to both those bigger cities. But if you are looking to fly direct, say south, you might be limited in some of your flight options that you have, just because it is once a week. They might only go down to Puerto Vallarta, as it was for when we traveled this past winter. But any which way you can normally, if you can plan your trips around it, look, and it'll save you a lot of hassle, especially if you're traveling with kids. Con number 5 is its proximity major center. Kelowna it's the biggest center that it is in the interior region, which is great. We got world-class healthcare and everything like that, but the proximity to Calgary and Vancouver, if you want to go to those sports games, if you want to go watch the Canucks or the Flames, if you want to go to a concert that's in some of those bigger centers, you oftentimes will have to go to Vancouver or Calgary to get to it. There is a certain round, like, and it's normally only really an issue in the winter when the Coquihalla is bad. You know, if there's a concert in Vancouver, you don't really want to drive on the Coquihalla Highway, so you are limited sometimes in your proximity because of the danger factor of sometimes traveling there. In the summer, it's a totally different story. It's a lot easier drive, and it can be quite enjoyable, backups and everything like that, but it's a good opportunity to get out. All right, so here is the bonus. Got pro number 6, but we're also making it a con number 6. So new development in Kelowna. There's a lot of new development happening in Kelowna. We've talked a lot about in this pros and cons video about the growth in Kelowna. We've talked about how a lot of people are looking to move here, and the reality of the situation is we're about 30% underbuilt right now, based on a lot of intelligence and a lot of intel from some people a lot smarter than I am, and listening to them speak. We're underbuilt right now, and we are continuously year over year going to be underbuilt for the next 10 years type of situation. But with that, we are experiencing a lot of growth. We are the fastest growing community in Canada based on the last census. And with that fastest growing, we have to have enough supply for the people to live here and to move here. And so with that, we're getting a lot of development, especially high-rise apartments going downtown, 30, 40-story buildings, which is great for additional housing, and hopefully in turn will create a little bit more affordable housing for people with the additional supply. But what it is really doing, it's changing the downtown areas. It's changing the areas. It's not, the area isn't the Kelowna that maybe you're visited here 30 years ago. It's not going to be the same Kelowna, especially if homeowners that are living here and have lived here their whole lifetime. It's not the same Kelowna that they're going to experience. So, which can be good or bad depending on which lens you're looking at it. A lot of development happening, and in my opinion, it's good because it's allowing a lot more people to visit here and to really enjoy what the Okanagan has to offer. I got people calling me every day looking to move here to the Okanagan. So if that sounds like you, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, text message, whatever works for you. I have your back. I'd love to get you to living here in Kelowna. And if you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos of living in Kelowna.